Okay, so I should be recording now. Yay. So yeah, shape tweens, right? So we got the morphine, got the keyframes, right? F6 to put in the keyframes. First keyframe, put how you want it to start. Second keyframe, you put how it ends. And then right click, create the shape tween. And that will create it. And it's basically the same thing with the other types of tweens. So there's two other tweens we're going to talk about. There's shape tweens and, or not shape tweens, motion tweens and classic tweens. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to click on these eyes. You'll be doing this a lot too. You can hide things. They're still there. You just won't be able to see them. Also, the other thing you want to pay attention to is the lock. Sometimes you have an animation set exactly how you want, and you have it, it's good, but as you're going through and editing things, you'll accidentally click on stuff and you'll accidentally move things. Well, to prevent that, you can lock the layers. So that just makes it so you can still see them, but now if I click and I try to do stuff to them, I can't. Okay, so that's another thing that you'll use a lot. If you have something established, it's exactly how you want, and you don't want to mess with it, you can either hide it or lock it. Okay, so I'm actually going to hide these because I don't really care about those anymore. So I'm going to double click that. I'm going to call it classic tween because that's what we're going to do on this one. You can tween basically anything you'd want. I guess in this one I will look at tweening my name because that's, I don't know, I like my name. It's kind of cool. It's Dave Kidd. This, I want it to be justified over to the left here. That color is okay. The letter spacing, I don't really want letter space. Oh wait, I need to select the whole thing. Think. Okay, get rid of the letter spacing, don't want that. All right, so the way my name is right now is I can't tween it really. Now what I want to do is I want to tween each individual letter. So I can do that by hitting Control B or Command B, and that does a thing called break apart. So it's right up here under modify. And you can break it apart, I think, down to basically 3 levels. So if I undo what I did here, so right now the whole thing is considered, you know, my name, I got it there. The object is considered to be just my full name. If I hit Control B once or Command B, now I have it broken apart into, now I have my individual letters that I can do whatever the heck I want with. Okay, undo that. Command Z or Control Z. Okay, and if I want to go even further, I can do Command B or Control B one more time, and now that, I don't know the official term for this, but it like pixelates it. So now I can shape tween it if I want. Okay, notice how with these shapes, right? Like when I click on the shapes, I get, let me unlock that. I get those little dots. That dot is like, I guess, pixelizing it. I don't know the official term for that, but that means it can be shape tweened. So if I ever want to shape tween letters, I have to do the same thing. I basically have to select them and break them apart until they become pixelized. I guess I'll just make that up. I'll copyright that later, but pixelize these letters, okay? So now if I want, I can copy this, Control C, I got it selected. I can come down here, F6, okay, delete it off. Well, I guess I didn't really need to delete it. Well, yeah, I'll delete it. Okay, and then I'll, you know, click here at this end keyframe, draw a square or something. Okay, create the shape tween, and now it's going to look kind of weird, but now I can take my letters, right, and morph them into something. Okay. But that's what breaking apart does. It's kind of a good thing to know. Control B, Command B. It allows you to break things apart and manipulate things individually or get them to the point where you can now shape tween them if you want. Okay, and then if I erase something, you can see that the the arrow now became dots. The dots mean, hey, something's broken. The tween is broken. It's not working. Something's wrong. So you can visually see when a tween is working or not. And it's busted because there's nothing in that first keyframe. There is something here, so it knows where it needs to end. It just doesn't know where it needs to start. So it's busted, not going to work. Okay, I just realized it's going to take a while. I don't want to, I'm not going to tween my whole name. I'm just going to tween Dave. So I'm just going to erase all this stuff. We will lock and hide that. And I'm going to remove the tween because I'm done with shape tweens. Now to remove that tween, I right-clicked and removed. So remember, whenever you put things on the timeline, you always want to select where you want them first, always. So I click on this keyframe, and now I go, okay, I want my name in there. So I'm going to type in Dave. So I'm just going to animate Dave. I don't want to animate my whole name. It's going to take too long. Okay, so I got my name typed out. It's on the first keyframe here. Control B or Command B. Now I have them all separated. So I got my E over here, B over here, A over here, D over here. And I guess I'll just have them roll in, I guess. I don't know. Why not? So to do that, I'm probably going to want them a little bigger. So actually, I'm just going to undo that. And I'll make it bigger. It's a good size. Okay, now I'll break it apart. So now they're separate. Now the type of tween we're going to do, classic tween and motion tween, you can only do them on the, they have to have their own layers. So D is going to have its own layer, A is going to have its own layer, V and E are going to have their own layers. Okay, so this is where we're going to start getting into crazy timeline manipulation here. So I'm going to double click this. I'm going to call it D because that's where my D is going to be. Okay, I'm going to create another one. A, V, E, yay. Yeah, your name's too long, is that what you said? You got a nickname or a shorter name that you can use? I'm not going to do David, dang it. Dave. And again, you don't have to do your name, right? Like the assignment calls for just basically manipulate text. That's all really the assignment's calling for right now is animate text. All right, so the problem is right now D is on the D layer, that's fine. A is on the D layer as well. V is on the D layer, and so I got to get them on their own layers. So click on A, cut it, Command X or Control X, so it goes away, but it's copied. Now here's another really, really, really important hotkey. If I just do Command V or Control V to paste, it just puts it kind of wherever it wants. You can see it shifted over a little bit. Okay, I'm going to undo that. If I do Command Shift V or Control Shift V, it puts it exactly in the same spot where I copied it from. Again, that's one of those things you may be like, who cares? This will save your butt over and over and over again. Because when you're animating stuff, you always want to make sure that it starts in the right spot. So if you paste it and it goes into some different spot, that's going to screw stuff up. So there's a lot of times where you copy something and you need to put it on a different layer, and you need it to be in the exact same spot that you copied it from or cut it from. So Command Shift V or Control Shift V does that. So I'm going to click on the V, Command X or Control X to cut it. Come up here on the V layer, Command Shift V or Control Shift V puts it in the exact same spot. Same with the E, Control X, or Command Shift V or Control Shift V, puts it in the exact same spot. Now they're all on their own layer and I can animate them however I want. And I'm going to save it. So now that they're on their own separate layers, now I can start animating them really however I want. And I guess what I'm going to do is have the E roll in. I don't know. See if the E goes first. Yeah, I'll probably have the E first, then the V, then the A, then the D. Yeah.
Okay, I totally missed how you put each layer on a separate. Okay.
Cool. Thanks for helping her. Yeah, recording. All right, so it's the same concept as before, right? We need to tell it where we need to start and where it needs to end. Okay, well, this is where all of them need to end. So really, all of these should be on keyframes over here at the end of the animation. Okay, and you know, to be honest, I don't know if I can do, I don't think I can do multiple ones. So let's see the best way to do this. Yeah, okay, so what I'm going to do is hit F6 on all of these because I want them to, I guess that's, yeah, really all I need to do here. Hit F6, oops, on the end of these so they all have keyframes. Okay, now these are all black, right? So that means that there's something in them. This one is white. There's nothing in there. It's clear. So that means there's no D in there. Well, there needs to be. So I can come over here, click on the D, select it, Control. In this case, I don't want to cut it because I want it to keep it on this first keyframe. Just want to copy it. So Control C, Command C, come over here to the end one, Command Shift V, Control Shift V, paste it into place. So these are done. Okay, these are exactly where I want them to be. Okay. I probably just messed something up, but it's okay. We'll go. All right. To motion tween something or to classic tween something, you have to convert what you're tweening into a symbol, is what it's called. Okay, and the hotkey to do that is F8 or function F8. Convert to a symbol is what it's called. That's the official term. Okay, you can only motion tween things that are symbols. Okay, well, what the crap is a symbol? It's just what it does is it takes your drawing, your picture, whatever you're messing with, and it kind of converts it into just like a usable format is really the only way I can explain that. Okay, so I got to do that. And this is where I think I went ahead of myself a little bit, but that's okay. Well, I'm a horrible teacher. Sorry, guys. I got to undo a little bit here. I am backspacing back to before I put in those keyframes at the end. And the reason, this is why, because I haven't converted these to symbols yet. So when I copied and pasted, I was copying and pasting the non-symbol thing, the thing that I can't animate. So yeah, like I said, horrible teacher, I apologize. So I'm going to get rid of that keyframe. So we're basically back to here. We're right at the beginning, we have that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert these into symbols. So I'm going to click, select, hit F8. this comes up and says, all right, you're converting to a symbol. Great. This is another one you're going to want to remember. You will be converting to symbols all the time. Yeah. Yes. I only broke apart the one time to get the individual letters. I did not break apart to get them pixelized.
Right. That's what I meant. Are we separating the letters?
Yes. Yep. We're separating the letters and we're converting each letter into its own symbol. Yeah.
Is there another way to get a screen you set up because F8 isn't working? Yeah.
Function F8 didn't work? If not, you can do modify convert to symbol.
Okay, I got it.
But function F8 should work.
Yeah, I got the F8.
Okay, cool. All right, so F8, that bad boy. Okay, now there's types of symbols. You got movie clips, buttons, and graphics. We're not really going to mess with any of these except for just a movie clip. Okay, so usually for the most part, it's going to be a movie clip. Obviously, it's going to be a button if we're going to be clicking on it. But I don't know how much interaction we're going to do in here. So I'm going to give it a name of D because that's what it is. It's just D, and that's it. So make sure this is movie clip. Type in the name that you want to give it. Hit OK. And the beautiful transformation took place, right? We got the D, and you can tell it's a symbol now because of this blue border that goes around it. Little bit different. This is blue too, right? But you get these little squares. It's a little bit different. This is not a symbol. This is, and it's a lighter blue too. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. This might rotate really weird. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with A, V, and E. So A, F8, call it A, hit enter. V, F8, call it V. It's movie clip, so hit enter or hit OK. F8, E, it's a movie clip, hit OK. Yeah, this, I think this might end up rotating really weird. We're going to see. This is going to be interesting. You'll also know it's a movie clip because when you click on it over here in the properties, you now have this thing called instance name, movie clip. Okay, you get a little bit different properties. Another thing you need to pay attention to is if I come over here to the library, this is where all my stuff is. Everything I'm going to be animating. Okay, you notice how I called them DAVE? Well, these are all the movie clips. They're inside the library. We'll go over the library more, but just know this is kind of like your assets place. This is where like all the stuff that you're animating, all your images, all your sounds, like everything you're going to do is going to be inside the library here. All right, so now that I converted them to movie clips, just because I'm wondering. This will be very interesting to see what it does. Okay, so now I converted them to movie clips. Now I'm going to add them here to the end. So F6, 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 F6. Now because they were already in this keyframe, when I added keyframes at the end here, it just populated them with what I wanted, which is great. So I click on this keyframe, it selects that. I know it's a movie clip because it's already converted. So happy days. So I have them all set up where I want them to end. But this is not where I want them to begin. I want them to begin off the stage. They're going to end here, right? But I want them to begin here. And I want to have them all off the stage. So I need to do that. Now, if I select all of them, you need to be really careful and pay attention to what's selected on the timeline. If all of these were selected, then that means I'm moving the ones at the end, which I don't want. I want to move the ones at the beginning, which it selected. So yeah, we're good. Okay, so I could do it individually, or I could just select them all. And that's what I'm going to do. Now you can move things with the arrow keys. Okay. Or that takes forever. That's like pixel by pixel movement. Or what you can do, I need to make sure I didn't mess anything up here. Okay, or I can select them all and hold down Shift and do the arrow keys, and they move a lot faster. Okay, it makes it go a lot quicker. So I'm just going to kind of move them off here. Come on, timeline, don't do that. Okay, so they're off the stage, boom, they're on. So that's where they start, that's where they end. Now I can start animating them. Then I'm going to save. Save all my hard work. So I just add the tween, right? Right click, and I'm going to create classic tween. And there we go. Sorry?
You're going to create it at the beginning? Yeah, okay.
Yep, just click in the middle here, create the classic tween, and I'm just going to do that to all of them. Yeah, I'm teaching here. What's going on? Real quick.
Yeah, I'm talking to Travis, trying to get my schedule worked out because it kind of got a little messed up. So this advanced server side scripting, I haven't taken the first two, but they're not offered this quarter. So what is?
So my server side, I do all PHP stuff. In advanced, it's Node and Python.
Okay. So I have done a little bit of PHP, and I worked with Node several quarters ago.
Okay, so
I was gonna say, do you think that
you'd be okay if you hopped in there and wanted to do it? It's independent study, so it's all online and just videos, like you know CSS was. But yeah, you should be fine, especially if you're good with like command line stuff and installing all the plugins and all that. Yeah, you should be fine. So.
Okay. I'll go ahead and have it throw that in.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be fine, man.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Yeah. What's up?
I have this.
Okay.
But when I click here, there's this. I don't know what that is. I don't know where it came from.
Okay. But everything else is right? If I go here, no, so when I click on this keyframe, it selects everything that's on there. So on this keyframe, RAC is on that keyframe. And then if I click on A, okay, A's there. See, it looks like you have duplicates probably. C, H, E, L. Okay, that's all right. We're going to clear this keyframe because we don't need it. So, clear.
I didn't even know it was there.
So probably just, that's the wrong A. How are we going to see? I'm guessing if I move this A, we'll see another one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's just hide everything. That'd be the way to do it. So we just hide all this. Now we see these extra letters that we don't want. So yeah, we can just get rid of those now.
I don't know where it came from.
Probably just with your copying and pasting.
And then add in the keyframes.
Yep, so now you would do that. You converted to symbols, right?
Oh yeah, I did that first.
So if these are all symbols, then yeah, just go through and add in those keyframes and they'll be there at the end.
Okie dokie.
Woo! Okay. Whoa, epic. Whoa, man. Right? Yeah, kinda. Whatever. Okay, so they're all moving. That's good. Movement is good. That means things are working. All right, so now what's kind of cool is I can click in the middle And I start getting a bunch of different options here for the tween. I can orient to path, which we'll talk about probably later. I can rotate. That's what I want. I want them to look like they're rolling. Do a bunch of other stuff here that, we probably aren't going to do. Easing, yeah, we're just going to talk about that in a couple weeks, but we can probably do it here. So I want these to rotate. I'm not sure how many times, so I'm just going to say, let's see, this needs to rotate clockwise, and I want it to rotate 3 times in that tween. And we'll see how bad or good this looks. Okay, now you can see it's rotating around, back up, it's rotating around that little white dot that we talked about. Okay, so right now, to be honest, I think the rotation looks a little weird because it's rotating around the dot, and the dot is kind of far down a little bit. So, Q, and then I just move it up. I'm going to zoom in a little bit though, because I want a little bit more control. So I want this to be kind of right in the middle of the D. Now this is where, you're probably like it already is, but this is where Flash gets a little tricky. Okay, I changed the registration point, actually I think is what it's called. I changed the registration point on this one, but if I go to the other one, it's still messed up. So I got to make sure that I change it on both. Okay, and the cool thing is this kind of snaps. It's smart enough to kind of know where the middle is. So that's nice. So I can click here. The middle of the A is going to be, I don't know, about there-ish. And then I got to change this one too. Yep. V. Yep, that looks about in the middle. Because remember, this registration point is kind of like the middle. It's considered the middle, and this is what it's rotating around. Yep, that's the same. Come here. Right there. And right there. Okay, now, yeah, it's definitely rotating a lot better now. It looks like it's actually rolling, right? Because it's going around the exact center of the D. And whether it's rotating too fast or too slow, well, I don't know. That's kind of up to you and what you want. But if you want it to rotate slower, you just, okay, instead of rotating 3 times, it's rotating twice. Okay, that looks a lot more realistic. Before it was rotating way too fast. It just looked like it was rotating way faster than it actually was going. So I know now, okay, 2 looks about good. So now I can come to A. I'm going to rotate that twice. Rotate that twice. And rotate that twice. Woohoo. Look at that craziness. And then it's up to you. Like, maybe I'm okay with that. Maybe I want the whole thing to be rolling together. Maybe I want one to go in, then the next, and the next, and the next. I don't know. It's up to you. It's your animation. You figure out how you want it to be. With my assignments, I'm very open. Like, some students love it, some hate it. Some hate me. They're like, dude, tell me what to do. I don't really do that. I just teach you skills and say, okay, do something with it. Because that's going to be how your jobs are going to be. Or say, hey, we need a client that needs to do so-and-so, needs this to happen. Well, you're the creative, right? You're the one who needs to figure that out. And having these types of skills, you'll be able to do that. Okay, now easing gives you kind of realistic motion. I haven't really played with easing that much in here. So I can say ease in. I think you gotta double click or something. Oh no, you gotta click one of these. So you can get a bounce type ease. Let's see what that does. I don't know what that's gonna do. Okay. Looks like it's all spasm him out. Okay, so yeah, it kind of starts out a little bit and then goes cruising. Yeah, not a fan of that. Really, with the easing, you're just gonna have to kind of take a look at it and just see what works and what does what you want. So I added a quad ease to it, and you can see how it, yeah, that one's, so it kind of starts out slow, then it goes fast. Starts out slow, then it goes fast, right? I don't know, maybe you want it to look like that, maybe you don't. But the thing is, they can't see it starting out slow, so who cares? It's outside the thing. So I could do an ease out quad. So it goes really fast and then it slows down at the end. I kind of like that a little more. I could try a bounce. That just looked so weird though. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Okay, it comes flying in, hits like an invisible wall. I actually kind of like that. So I'm going to give them all that. So ease out, bounce. Ease out, bounce. The whole point of eases is just to give your animation like realistic movement. You know, because if it just kind of moves all slow and robotic, same speed the whole time, it just kind of goes, eh. Every type of snappy movement you see in animations has some sort of ease. I kind of like that. Whoop, dunk, dunk, dunk. That looks kind of cool. Okay. So yeah, play around with the tweens. Animate different stuff. Okay. Trying to see, let me see if I missed anything here. I don't think so. Oh, opacity. Okay, so if I wanted these to fade in as well, you can't, you don't do it inside the tweening. You have to do it on the actual symbol itself. So they kind of bury this. I'm not a fan of it, but they do. So I click on the D, and it's under color effect. So I click on color effect. Style is going to be alpha, and then I can just lower the alpha. So now what it would do, it starts invisible, and it kind of fades in. Okay, the fading in is kind of stupid on this because it fades in like before it even hits the stage. So, but I'm just showing you how you can do it. So if you want something to fade in, you just grab that first keyframe, right? And then you just go to the alpha and lower it. Just make sure the one that it ends with has the alpha of 100. So I'm going to do that to all of those real quick. So alpha, lower it down, click there, alpha, lower it down, alpha, lower it down, yay. Okay, now I save. Now the V and E will probably be able to see kind of fade in. But anyways. Okay, I'm not trying to say this is the last thing, but one of the last things here I'll show you is the other type of tween. And if I'm going too quick, I get it. We're kind of, you know, pretty far into the class. Just know you'll have the video to watch. Okay. So I'm going to do an exclamation point just to kind of end it up. And I want the exclamation point to come in after my name. So name comes in, and then I want the exclamation point to come in afterwards. So I'm going to hit F6 because that's where the exclamation point's going to start, is right here at the end of my name. Okay, and I'm going to draw it out there. Okay, and then I'll have this, this will take like a half a second. So F6. Now we run into a problem, right? Okay, where did everything go? Well, everything ends right here. So there's no frames out here for it. So when I come out here, everything's gone except for the exclamation point. So luckily that's pretty easy to fix. I just click and drag down. Okay, select all those, hit F6, and it'll bring them all out. Okay, if the playhead does not have keyframes or frames to show, it won't. All right, so I'm going to clear this keyframe. This, I don't know, probably just because I'm just old school Flash. I never really use this type of tween that much. I'm not a fan of it, but this is how After Effects works, if you've done anything in there. So you don't have, with this new tween, you don't have to define where it begins and ends. All you got to do is just throw it on here. And then I'm going to right click and say create motion tween. Okay. And the way it works is instead of defining with keyframes what you want it to do, you just take the playhead and then you click and drag it and you move it. So what I would do is say I'm like right here. So I'm starting right here. I want it to be over here off the stage. Okay, and then about right here, I want it to be up here. And then you can see it kind of draws this little path here. So you can visually see what it's going to do. And then I bring out the playhead a little bit more, and I say, okay, at this point in the animation, I want it to be, even higher, I guess. This is going to look weird. Okay, and then I move it a little bit more. I don't know, comes right here. And then at the end, I click and drag, and it's going to be kind of right where I want it. It's going to look really weird. Okay, but now you can see that I got motion here. Which way is easier to do it? I don't know, to be honest. It's just kind of up to you. Just know that there's both, and you kind of figure out which one you would rather do. This one's kind of cool because you don't have to worry about converting things to symbols. You don't have to worry about adding all these different keyframes. You just put the playhead where you want it, and then you move the object where you want it to be. And then again, it fills everything kind of in the middle. So now when I hit enter, it just kind of flies out really quick. So Dave comes in, boom, it goes out, and then there you go. Same thing, if you want it to take a little bit more time, click on the playhead, F5. Oh geez, that's, no, I think you do it this way. Yep. Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit different. You got to click at the end and just kind of drag it out like that. If I hit F5 here, it kind of just hoses stuff. It just doesn't work like the other ones. Okay, but anyways, and so then I'd have to come in here and kind of select all this, hit F5 a bunch of times just to bring it out. And this has rotation too. It has some easing. Okay. And then another kind of cool thing about this is now that the path has been defined, I can click and manipulate it. If I'm like, you know what, that I didn't really like how it did that. I want it to come up here like this. I want it to kind of drop a little bit more, right? You can mess with curves. So you can get kind of curvy type movement. Okay, so you can manipulate the path which it follows, which is kind of cool. Woo! Okay, so I guess it's kind of like a slipping slide, right? Or something, I don't know. If I want it to rotate, I can have that go crazy, flipping around. I don't know, guys. Just throwing weird crap at you, okay? Bam, there you go. Easing, it's just a numerical value. That's doing out, that's doing in. So easing out, I think, is it goes fast at first and then slows down. I always get them mixed up. Sure, why not? Now this path will not show up when you export it. So don't worry about that. That's just there inside the FLA. Once you export and get it online or whatever, it won't show up. Okay. So now you basically have everything you need to do the assignment. I'm not going to animate a logo because it's just the same concepts. But things to pay attention to, though, when you do your logo, as you're creating it, you need to make sure, and this is really important, you need to make sure that everything you're going to animate is on its own layer. If you're making it in Illustrator, you have to pre-plan this. You have to go, okay, I'm creating, I don't know, maybe it's a bird and you want the eyes to blink or something. Okay, well, as you're drawing the bird in Illustrator, the body and everything can be on its own layer, but the eye needs to be on its own layer. So you got your body, everything on one layer, then on another layer you have the eye, because you're going to be animating the eye. So everything you're going to be animating, everything you're going to be moving around, doing stuff with, needs to be on its own layer. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I guess, yeah, I kind of need to show you this real quick. I'm going to do this really fast because don't need to spend a lot of time on it. So let's say you're in Photoshop, you're creating your logo, whatever you're creating. Now, by the way, you are having 2 weeks on this, so get as comfortable as you can. Next week will be basically like a work day. So hit create. Let's say this is your logo. I don't know. You draw a square. Okay, that's going to be something stupid, whatever. But I don't know. Let's say it's like a robot or something. So this is the body. Okay, and you want the head to move and you want the arms to move. You know for a fact that's what's going to happen. But the body's not going to. So we go over here to layers. Okay, this is going to be the body. And I'm going to create 2 more layers. So one's going to be the head. So I double click, head, and the other one's going to be, I guess, yeah, just arms. And you're probably going to want to have like a left arm and a right arm or something. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so I click on head. Boom, there it is. There's his head. Okay, and then I go over to layers, arms. I'm just going to draw one for now. Just don't want to take forever. All right, so I guess I'll do 2. Why not? Right? Yay. So it sucks, but we're done, right? So I save it out. I'll save it into that folder that I'm messing around in. I'll call it logo. Okay, it's a PSD now. So what I'm showing you right now is how to take something you've done in Photoshop or Illustrator and import it into Animate. So there's my PSD, there's my FLA. So now I hop back into Animate and I'm going to create a new layer because I want it to be on its own layer, and I'll call it logo. Okay, and I'm going to go File, Import, and I'm going to import it into my library. I want it to be inside of here. So then I can click and drag, pull it from the library. I don't want to put it on my stage yet. So File, Import, Import to Library. Let me go find it. Week 1 name. There it is, the PSD. Now the cool thing is, because Flash is Adobe and Photoshop is Adobe, they talk with each other. They're able to kind of take things from each other and know what to do. I don't care about the background, so I'm not going to take that. The main thing is do not pick flatten bitmap image. That's going to lose all the layers. You want these to be separate things inside of here so you can use them. I need to be editable, pass, and layer styles. Wait. Oh crap, need to change the resolution real quick. Sorry. Because I got to be able to see this. Yeah, I think we want the editable pass. Okay, the main thing here is this needs to be animate layers, because each one of these we want to be on their own layer. You don't want to import as a single bitmap image. That's going to lose all of these separate parts. The rest of it, to be honest, yeah, if it's advanced, really, I mean, you don't need advanced. You could just be on basic. Maintain the editable pass, text conversion, editable text. That's just if you have any text, so you'll be able to edit if you want. And we want to convert this to animate layers. Okay, so maintain editable pass, editable text, animate layers, basically the top on each one of these, and then hit import. Okay, it comes in as a folder. Let me go back to the normal resolution. Comes in as a folder. Okay, and then there we go. There's the one arm, the background. That's weird. I unchecked that, but I don't need background, so I'm going to delete that. Okay, there's the body, there's the head, there's the shape, and so forth. So now they came in as movie clips, so now I can go on there and animate them as I need to. So the main thing is just make sure everything's separate on its own layer inside of Photoshop or Illustrator. Then when you bring them over, them all in their own thing. And so now when I wanted to start messing with stuff, I want to mess with the arm, I bring out the arm. There we go. Now I can start animating it. It's on its own layer. We're ready to go. And I get it. I just threw a ton of crap at you. But luckily, it's all on video, right? And we'll be using this stuff for 2 weeks. And don't worry, we're not done yet, because we got web host stuff to talk about. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to pretend I'm done. Here's another hotkey for you. Command Enter or Control Enter. Right now, yeah, I can view it. Great. It's awesome. Does what I want. But it's not in a format that I can put online. Remember, the FLAs, we can't put online and no one can see them. So to export them into a format that can be used online is Command Enter or Control Enter. So I'm going to hit Control Enter. It says exporting JavaScript HTML. It's going to open up a browser, and then there it is. Yeah, I don't want the shape tween on there anymore. I'm going to go kill that. It looks dumb. So I'm going to delete these shape tweens. Okay, save it again. Command Enter, Control Enter. Okay, and there we go. Did I hear it's not working?
No.
What didn't work? Did it do anything?
It's just looking at me.
Let's take a look. What was the problem?
I was not on Animate. I was still on the internet.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you got to be inside Animate when you hit the Command Enter. Okay, now the cool thing is, let's take a look at what this did. All right, so if I go into my folder where my FLA was saved, oh, it just created an HTML file for me. And it just created a JavaScript file for me. That's what's kind of crazy. This animation that you're seeing is being done with code. So therefore, any browser that supports JavaScript, which is basically everyone in existence, can play this. Okay, so this is how Adobe is keeping Flash relevant. Is now, because if I look at the code, this is what's going on behind the scene. You don't have to know what all this stuff does, but this is all the code that's getting this to work. Kind of cool. Now, right now you're like, okay, it's repeating. This is annoying, right? Well, we can fix that. And it's pretty easy. There's two ways you can do it. You can go to properties and go to publish settings. You got to click on an empty spot in the whatever text is called. Anywhere in the stage, you can go to publish settings. And this is probably the easiest way. You go to publish settings, and then where it says loop timeline, you just uncheck that. So it says loop timeline right there. You uncheck and then hit OK. And that should work, I hope. We'll see in a minute. There we go. And it stops at the end. Because as you're seeing, Flash by default repeats the timeline, which can be very annoying. So that's the first way. The second way is you can do it with code. And it's really simple. A little tiny bit of code. You can only put code on keyframes. So I come here at the end, I hit F6. Okay, add a keyframe. This can be on any keyframe, by the way. Then F9 brings up the coding. And then you just say this dot stop, parentheses, semicolon, and that will get it to stop as well. To be honest, this is probably the better way. It's teeny bit harder, but this is the better way because if you forget your publish settings or you open up your FLA in a different version of Flash or on a different computer, well, the publish settings may not be set to do that. Where if you throw the code in here on your project and you say this dot stop, then it will stop no matter what. It'll always stop no matter what version of Flash you're in, no matter what computer you're using, it'll always stop. So really, this is probably the best way to do it. So this refers to the animation, and then this is just the stop method, tells it to stop. Okay, and it stops it wherever you put that code, and I put it at the end. So now if I come back to my publish settings and I say loop timeline, it won't matter because, oops, it won't matter because, oh yeah, I gotta hit OK here. Because in the code I told it to stop. Okay. All right, so now when we export it, we now have the HTML file and the JavaScript file that we need to put up on our hosts. So this is the part of the class where those of you with hosts yell hallelujah, be happy, because you got it done. Those of you that don't, we'll probably take another 5-10 minute break here to let you settle this stuff into your brain. And then we're about to destroy your brain some more. Yeah, be excited. Okay, now because we need to set up hosts for you guys and because it can get a little bumpy road, sometimes it doesn't work perfectly. The due date for this, you know, it's due in 2 weeks, but you know, if we're having issues with your host, we'll extend the due date a little bit. But really, yeah, your host should totally be set up within 2 weeks. You should have this done by tomorrow, really. But I get it, but the thing is, there is something though. Some of these things you may have to do at home, just because we get blocked on campus. Sometimes it sucks, and there's nothing we can do about it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording now because how to get hosts and all that stuff I've already made videos for. So we should be good here with that. So I'm gonna stop. I hope it's still going. Anyway.